Today is February 5th, 2024, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Joe Imbriano, the Fullerton Informer. And I wanted to bring your attention to this weather anomaly that's taking place off the west coast of the United States right now. If you haven't heard about it on the news, I guess you're not paying attention. They're really playing up the fear on this one. I just wanted to tell you folks that aside from running the Fullerton Informer and a bunch of other websites, I've been a California resident my whole life. I'm very familiar with climatic patterns, and I've lived in California for over 50 years, and I've seen all kinds of weather, various El Nino weather patterns, La Nina weather patterns, all kinds of different stuff. Very in touch with nature, very in tune with the ocean, nature, the cycles, the cyclical nature, and the patterns of the weather and the ocean currents, etc. We are witnessing something here that is absolutely historic, folks, because what's taking place is they're calling this an atmospheric river, okay? And I want to kind of hone in right here, that's Southern California, right in this region here. And you could see this warm subtropical moisture coming in from the southwest in a northeasterly trajectory, okay? What's missing is the counterclockwise rotation up in the north, okay? There is nothing churning up in the Gulf of Alaska or off the coast of Canada. As a matter of fact, this whole thing is revolving around clockwise rotation off the coast of Northern California. I guess that's probably close to 1,000 miles out, maybe less. But I want to focus your attention in on this right here, because this clockwise rotation is going in the wrong direction. And what it's doing is it's hurling the subtropical moisture out from the west over the top and mixing it as it pulls cold air down from the northwest. I want you to look at the airflow direction here, folks. This thing is winding around in the wrong direction and pulling subtropical moisture up over the top of it, as well as pulling cold air masses down from the north. At the same time, the subtropical component continues to flow around this thing, okay? What we've got is rotation in two different directions. The subtropical component coming up to the southwestern portion of California is moving in to a northeasterly direction to the west coast of the United States. The subtropical component to the north of Southern California is moving in from a northwesterly direction. This is unbelievable, folks. We got it coming in over the top and coming in on the bottom. This is spinning around, bringing the subtropical moisture in over the top, bringing down cold air from the north, mixing with the subtropical component to the south. I have never, ever seen anything like this in my life, folks. Look at this. It's turning in the wrong direction. This is clockwise rotation. This is almost unheard of from a meteorological standpoint. Normally, you would have counterclockwise rotation up over here or over here, pulling in the moisture from the south. This is backwards, folks. And I want to focus your attention on this. This is the area of concern right here. So I want you to look at it. This is not normal, ladies and gentlemen. This is not natural weather. This is not how the weather systems are supposed to behave unless they are being controlled. I'm going to move out just a little bit here, and you could see the vastness of this. Normally what will happen is you will have something up here doing this, pulling the moisture up. What we have is something here going in the opposite direction. This is clockwise rotation. We normally have counterclockwise rotation up here. sometimes off the coast of up in the Gulf of Alaska. There's nothing up there right now. All that's happening is you have moisture coming up over the top, moisture fueling in from the bottom, and this thing right here is twirling the wrong way as it brings the moisture up and over the top, as this is feeding in from the bottom, and as this comes up over the top, it's bringing cold air down from the north, feeding into the moisture, feeding into this, and making it last for a lot longer of a period of time. Now, I'm in Southern California, and there is absolutely no wind to speak of. I'm in central Orange County, which is a very flat coastal plain. There is no wind to speak of. I'm within several miles of the coastline. There's no wind outside right now. Very light rain. In addition, the barometric pressure has not fallen below 29.92 inches of mercury. Okay? Generally, you would have a low pressure system circulating here, and it would bring unstable air catching and pulling up the subtropical component. You would have a very strong southeasterly wind. And at the same time, you would have falling barometric pressure readings. And, you know, if this was a true bomb cyclone, as they called it, you would have barometric pressure readings that would be down, I don't know, anywhere from 29.4, 29.5. We'd have a gale warning off the coast with 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We'd have thunderstorms. We got nothing but warm, moist air moving up in here, folks. Nothing but warm, moist air. There is no wind to speak of. The raindrops, when they fall straight down. There's no wind-driven rain associated with this in the Southern California area. So this is an artificially created weather system, and it is being maintained. This area right here is where I want to focus your attention. This is turning in the wrong direction. It's not supposed to be turning like this. Historically and traditionally, a Pineapple Express will have this kind of circulation pulling it up from the bottom. Once again, a Pineapple Express will circulate up here off the northwesterly coast of the western United States, circulating in a counterclockwise fashion with a very distinct formed eye. You would be able to see it, and it would fuel the momentum, bringing up the subtropical component. This subtropical component is being drawn up without any low pressure system circulating. This is what is driving the whole thing right here. It is turning in the wrong direction. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that they can broadcast on the news about how much rain California is getting. It also means that when you have this much cold air up here coming down with this, hooking up with this, God help the rest of the country as this thing makes landfall. As it collides with the cold air up in the northern part, the central part of the United States, you're going to have disastrous weather. I've never seen anything like this, folks. And, I very carefully follow the weather. I owned a boat. I owned multiple boats for years. When I was younger, I had these piece of junk boats. I didn't have a lot of money. I'd go out on the ocean 10, 15, 20, 30 miles out in very rickety boats. So I had to be very in tune with the weather and the wind directions and the currents and everything else, as I used to love to fish when I had the time and the ocean was as productive as it was. And I'm very familiar with these composite images, okay? And this is not normal, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely not normal. This is how they get you to believe in climate change, folks. They tell you the weather is changing because of the fossil fuels, when in fact they're not fossil fuels. Dinosaurs did not crawl 15,000 feet below the bottom of the ocean and curl up in a ball and turn into petroleum, okay? Oil is formed by natural abiotic processes deep within the earth. The earth replenishes the oil